Hello, everybody. We're just going to give it another minute or two to let a few people, as there's always late arrivals, so we'll be starting here in just a minute or two. Okay, I think we'll go ahead and begin to be good stewards of everyone's time. I'd like to welcome everybody to this webinar. I'd like to thank you for taking the time to join and learn about something that we think is really helpful, that integrates directly with the IMIX platform and that can really dramatically enhance your communication with stakeholders and dispatch and apprehension rates, and that is our partnership with IncidentCode. Just some housekeeping items that I'll go over. For those of you not familiar with the GoToWebinar application, if you have a question, there is a little questions bar that you can simply open up and type in your question. We're going to try and hold all questions until the end, but I will be monitoring those questions. And if I see anything that I think would warrant an interruption of the presentation because maybe we need further clarification on something or something we can answer very quickly, then we will do that, but we'll try to hold all questions till the end. There is also a chat box. If you want to type a message either to us or to the group, you can also do that in the chat bar. And then finally, there is a little handouts bar, and we do have a handout in there that you are free to download. It is a flyer on the joint solution, along with a link included to a video that elaborates on it a little further. So you feel free to download that. We will be sending that out post this webinar to all attendees, along with the slide deck that you will be seeing as part of the presentation. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to our Director of Partner Relations, Aaron Bullard, to introduce IncidentCode and the joint solution between IncidentCode and IMIX.
Thank you, Jason. Appreciate you taking care of that. Good afternoon, everybody. Excited for you guys to join today. Take the time out of your schedule. I'm pleased to introduce Rick Aldrich, the CEO and co-founder of IncidentCode. So Rick will be sharing his insights and expertise with us during today's webinar. He'll provide a closer look at the IncidentCode solution and demonstrate really how it works within IMIX during a managed event. So again, I just want to express my gratitude to Rick and his team for his collaboration and support over the last couple of years that we've been working together. His participation today and taking the time really enhances the quality of knowledge that you guys will get from the webinar. So just to start things off, those of us who have sat in and managed a monitoring center, Jason, Rick, myself included, know the impact of being able to communicate with key stakeholders and communicate relevant details and information in real time during an event as it unfolds and not just after the fact. And so, partnering with IncidentCode allows us to provide our customers with a tool to do that more efficiently, more effectively, and again, be able to communicate relevant details, including video clips, including images, not only to law enforcement, but to key stakeholders, customers included, in real time. So without further ado, Rick, I'm going to hand it over to you. And if you can, just maybe give us a little bit of the backstory of how IncidentCode was born.
Happy to. Thank you, Aaron. So as Aaron mentioned, IncidentCode is a communication tool. We essentially had a problem when we started a monitoring center in my previous life, at my previous company. We found that our video verified alarms were being given the same priority as traditional blind alarms. And it was very frustrating because we were witnessing crimes on video. And so we got to the boiling point essentially and said, fine, if you don't believe us, we're just going to show you. And so we developed IncidentCode. So IncidentCode is a cloud-based solution that integrates right into the IMIX alarm handling page. And essentially, when an incident is created, everyone on your contact list is notified immediately. And then we can also share the same report with law enforcement via a 6-digit code. All clips attached to the report and all comments are time-stamped to keep an audit trail. And then we don't require any app or software on the recipient's behalf. I always think the best way to tell you about it is just to show you. So this is the IMIX alarm handling page. I'm certain every single person on this call is very familiar with it. So when you receive an event, you come in here and the operator starts to assess the situation. Following the script, using some of the other features. And if it gets to the point where I need to escalate this to get feedback from the customer or maybe dispatch, what you would do is come over here to the extensions tab and create IncidentCode. With that single button, I've just notified everyone on the call list. So what I need to do now is add data. I'm going to send this event clip because there's good activity here. I'm going to send this event clip. And I'm going to send a snapshot from the live feed. I'm also going to let them know via comment that someone has been seen on site. From an operations standpoint, that's all the operator needs to do to notify the contact list and generate the report.
And Rick, before you go a little bit further, I just want to, point something out. I think we wanted to make this as easy as possible for operators as they move between maybe the alarms tab, current events, any of the notes that they need to look at, and this, IncidentCode interface, which, as you can see, is within the extensions tab, so that, as you can see, Rick, if you don't mind pointing it out, the little toolbar where you can send those clips. But you can also just directly from here, if you don't mind pointing that out, send the event clip and send the live snapshot. So that essentially does the same thing. They can add additional comments, but we wanted to make sure that that doesn't disappear from them as they may need to go and look at a map or additional notes.
So what does the report look like? This is what the report looks like. You have your snapshots and video clips here. Cycling through, you have an overview of the location. You can call into the monitoring center and then you see the comments. With that being said, there are 2 access points to reach this report. One is via the 6-digit code, and then the other is actually generated by text message, and the text message received looks like this. So essentially, IMIC sales server, which is the monitoring center, made an incident code for Tampa Office CS, which is the site name, and then there's a link. If the customer clicks on the link, they get this report. They also get the added ability to send a response into the monitoring center to either dispatch or cancel dispatch on this particular event. So I'm going to dispatch. And that comes back in as an alarm. Attached to the alarm coming in is the report again. And that gives insight in case you've already closed out the event and another operator answers this alarm. The other thing is you don't have to enable these dispatch and cancel dispatch buttons on every site. So it's pretty much whoever you can determine who you want to send it to. It also logs the command by the customer as a comment with a timestamp. Again, enhancing the audit created by using incident code.
And Rick, if I could just point out one thing as well, as long as the recipient is in that report page that he was just showing, whether it is a responder or a customer, any additional information that the operator sends is going to come in real time. So additional comments, additional video clips, additional still shots would automatically populate within that report, and they could be able to view them in real time.
Yeah, no need to refresh the page. So that's pretty much incident code in a nutshell. Let's take a look at how it's been deployed. So just to further on what Aaron and Jason have said, we close the feedback loop to convey relevant information to the right people. We provide crucial information to stakeholders and first responders. We promote efficiency, free up your operators, free up law enforcement. We improve response time. This is critical here because after 8 p.m., people tend to disengage with their phone and reaching people on the call list becomes difficult. However, if they get a text message, they can see without really being too interrupted how important this is. And then we haven't had a single false alarm associated with an incident code dispatch. And we've also replaced manual post-event reports for our customers.
Hey, Rick, do you mind if we real quick kind of take a quick check and go back? So I think all of us have probably experienced, that time where you call customers, it's after hours, and nobody wants to pick up. I think all of us are more inclined to text or send back an email, but answering the phone can be a little bit difficult. So a quick question maybe for the audience here, if we can take a quick poll. Is anybody using a tool outside of phone calls to better communicate with your customers during, a live event? Not something that's after the fact to communicate, here's the incident report, but during active incidents. And we'll give everybody just a minute. All right, it looks like we're getting some good responses. Got about 65% of people have voted so far, maybe a few more answers. All right. All right, we'll go ahead and close it. So it looks like the majority of people don't use a tool, but it does look like there's a handful of people that are using some kind of communication tool to actually work with customers and make sure that they've got insights.
Great.
Great.
So IQ monitoring was nice enough to give us feedback and let us explore how they have deployed IncidentCode. They were facing a couple challenges and we filled that gap. Essentially, their challenges were the manual reporting process, delayed customer awareness of events, and then uncoordinated response efforts. And so they incorporated IncidentCode with every location they monitor. They've trained all operators on how to use IncidentCode while escalating events. All customers are notified. And when a customer is notified, it's not one by one, it's simultaneous. So if you have 4 customers on a call list, all 4 are notified immediately. And then all agents and operators can add comments in real time. So as a result, we've improved operational efficiency for IQ. They can process events quicker and get faster police response times. The customers love it. They've strengthened relationship with law enforcement, and they've also become a leader in first responder safety. So for IQ, we've reduced police response times on average by 53% for all dispatches. We've increased apprehensions by 40%. And we've also saved them 6 hours a day on average in manpower. Essentially, Heath Callahan, who ran operations at IQ, was very excited that IncidentCode was implemented, and they absolutely love it over there, as do their customers.
And I don't know if anybody's like me. I mean, the data speaks for itself, but being able to really tune in and see what types of events are triggering, you know, the need for a police dispatch, which ones are actually getting apprehensions. I think that's really valuable information, especially to customers, to really show them what you're doing and how you're making an impact. The no news is good news doesn't always fly with customers, and being able to show that positive impact and having an arrest, having some sort of apprehension, and saving them, you know, from a potential incident or damages is really effective and really powerful. So I think this is just one scenario where we were able to really dig into some of these numbers, and again, IQ and Heath were very gracious to share this information with us. So that we could share it with you guys.
Yeah, and IQ is actually standardized on creating incident codes for events that aren't necessarily dispatched on, but they intervened on with maybe a talk down or turning on a siren, on-site siren, and giving the customer that insight that, hey, not every event leads to a police dispatch, but we're still protecting your site, has been very valuable for IQ to create customer stickiness.
Yeah, I would also point out another item of that customer stickiness is if you're just using it as a simple means of communication between the monitoring center and the customer, you can eliminate a lot of situations where you don't need to dispatch. If the customer can say, oh no, that's an employee, that's my job site foreman, no need to dispatch on this. So if the customers are engaged in this particular solution, you can also eliminate a lot of unwarranted dispatches or other response scenarios that are not needed.
Exactly. And just A couple other companies that are using IncidentCode have had great feedback for us. Security Central Protection. IncidentCode has been a vital part of our central station operations. Our customers cannot live without it. It truly separates us from our competitors. We are extremely happy with this service. We've gotten feedback from law enforcement. Every time an officer responds to a call, there are numerous unknowns. IncidentCode gives us situational awareness, which reduces surprises and guesswork. We know exactly what's waiting for us now. We are safer and our community is safer because the type of information IncidentCode provides. And then one additional customer feedback from iSite Surveillance. Every site we monitor uses IncidentCode. It is an integral part of our process for managing events and communicating with our customers. So that's it in terms of our report. Do we have questions maybe, or anything else, Aaron or Jason, you'd like to add?
Yeah, I just want to say, quick and to the point, it's a simple tool for customers to use, but it offers a lot of value. I think being able to have the alarm clips, being able to have some of that footage within the event, within the audit trail, not just within MX, allows you to create a more succinct snapshot of what took place during the incident. And I think that goes a long way with people who just want, get me down to the nitty-gritty details. I just need to see exactly what happened, and this allows them a tool that provides them with that.
Exactly. If anyone is interested, please reach out to your account manager at IMIX, either Jason Caldwell or Stephen Tapper, or whoever else you interact with on a regular basis, and tell them you're interested.
Jason, do we have anything in the chat or any questions? Looks like there might be one question so far. Can you take snapshots of previous view cameras within IMIX, or is it only in the live view? So within a current event, you're able to send any of the alarm clips from the audit trail. It's not going to allow you necessarily to go to a previous event that's already been closed and send those snapshots, but you will be able to send snapshots from the current event, any alarms, any of the live view. If that integration that you're using has playback, you can certainly send those clips over too.
Another question that came in is, can you confirm that the incident code notifies everyone on the list? And if so, does it waste time on the, hang on, let me, does it waste time on the customer end with notifying everyone? And what if you send it to everyone on the call list and you get several responses? Will the responses differ? Can it be managed differently?
Rick, I will let you handle that one.
So in terms of this dispatch and cancel dispatch button, it was designed that as soon as a single customer sends essentially feedback into the monitoring center, no one else on the call list can then press these buttons. These buttons are now grayed out with the guidance being logged, and all other customers who have received the report able to see who sent the response in and what the response was. So did that answer the question?
Not sure, but I do have another, yeah, they said yes. Okay, you said yes. Another question is this a service outside of IMIX or integrated with IMIX services? This is a fully integrated IMIX solution, so it exists inside the platform. So there is nothing that that the it's free to use on the customer end, law enforcement end. You don't need to, again, download anything. It's browser based, or you can get the text message alerts. So while IncidentCode is not an IMIX product or an IMIX company, they are simply a partner. So this is something where everything kind of starts and ends in IMIX, and we are relaying real-time data and images to the IncidentCode cloud portal.
Well said.
There's a couple of questions, a little bit about how it's licensed. So yes, it is a licensed feature. For the sites that you add it to, it is a certain number of credits. There's a couple of factors that go into that. I'd suggest reaching out to your account director just to double check what that license fee would be, but it does pull from the credit pool.
Next question is, can the operator text back and forth with a responding RP, so a responder, about things like how long can we disregard the site for employees on site? It's not two-way compatible in the IMIX interface. It's only information from the monitoring center out to the portal. However, there is that option within the IncidentCode interface for the responder, the stakeholder, to call the monitoring center and can speak with the operator to get additional details or questions answered. So if you need to disarm the site for 5 minutes or something of that regard. Next question is, can it be applied to both Video Verification Plus and interactive monitoring? Aaron, do you know that? Is this just an interactive monitoring solution, or is it available for both?
I believe it's available for both. It is basically added kind of as an integration device, so it doesn't necessarily matter which type of site it is. Another question, if a site has, let's say, 15 cameras, how long does the setup time take to add IncidentCode to the system, including adding all cameras? So because the operator is able to select which media gets sent as part of the incident, you don't necessarily need to enable it on every camera. It's enabled at the site level, and then all of the available media, any of the cameras associated with that site, the operator would be able to select which alarm footage, which live view clips get sent as part of the incident.
Yeah, so just to further that, from a data entry standpoint, when you add IncidentCode as a device to a location, there are several items that IMIX automatically sends us. And one of them is every device associated with that site. So it's actually instant in terms of the devices added to IncidentCode.
Another question about when an operator is viewing an event, if they're within the same current event, they're watching a person with a PTZ camera but didn't send the event clip in time, can they go back and send the snapshot? As long as the event is still open, you can go back and send a snapshot from any camera. So you can pull up any live camera and send a snapshot. And also, as long as the clip is still displaying in your audit window, you can send the clip at any time as well. So if you don't send the clip right away within the first few seconds, but you want to send it 30 seconds later, you can do that. And you can go back and send a snapshot from any camera. Also, if a particular integration for that site has our playback feature, which is the calendar lookup feature, where maybe you can go back 30 seconds in time and display video from there, you can also send snapshots from past history as well.
There is a question about law enforcement, how law enforcement would receive the active report during a dispatch. Rick, I will let you handle that one if you're.
Yeah, so it's still a phone call to the local 911 dispatch center, and then you would verbally say, this is an IncidentCode alarm, and give them the 6-digit code, which is available in several different places, including right here. So the operator always has access to this 6-digit code. And we designed it that way because we felt it would be very difficult to convince 911 to upgrade technology and some other compatibility issues. And we looked at it, and 911 was already using very outdated technology. So how do we make this as simple as possible? And we have not really been rejected by any 911 call centers. It goes in the CAD notes that go out to the responding officer, and then the responding officer can actually pull up IncidentCode.com, put in the 6-digit code, and view essentially what they're driving into or responding to.
Rick, there's a follow-up to that specific to Canada, where they're saying that there's, police dispatchers have firewalls that don't allow them to use something like this, and if that's something that we experience here in the States.
I have not received that feedback from any police department in the United States.
And I think because it's browser-based and because it's, secure, being able to just have that 6-digit incident code allows them to not need to download anything. There's no login, there's no separate app required. There was a question about the mapping. So the map, the GPS coordinates as part of the incident, if that is pulled from the maps within MX. So yes, that is correct. Where you have them mapped out on the MX map itself, that's what it'll associate as far as the location goes.
Actually, no. We do not pull camera locations from the map in IMIX. That is something that would be done here, but it's optional. So some companies have chosen to do it, some companies have not. But essentially, you come in here, and then you can move it around.
Nope, thanks for that correction. All right. Do we have any other questions? I think we've gotten all the questions that were popped in. If anybody has not had theirs answered, feel free to raise your hand again.
I'm just checking to make sure we got all the questions answered.
Yep. No, I appreciate collaborative audience.
Let's see.
One thing I don't think we've touched on that hasn't been asked is how long the code is good for.
Sorry, is that a question for Rick?
Yeah, sorry. Rick, if you don't mind,
so,
how long is the code good for, the length of time?
So by default, we enable the code for 4 hours. And essentially we can work with the monitoring center if they want to extend that out or make that shorter. This long form URL that is sent to the customer is valid for 30 days. So the customer can continue to go back for 30 days, download the report, do whatever they have to do. Whereas law enforcement has access to it, or anyone outside the call list has access to it for about 4 hours is the standard time.
Perfect, thank you.
Question. I'm sorry, Aaron, were you going to elaborate more on that?
No.
I had one more question. I think it refers to the previous one. So you no longer have to set up on a portal. Once you add this extension to a site in IMIX, all cameras have the capability to send snapshots. Yes, that is correct. Any camera linked to that site, you can select it and send a snapshot from it.
All right, we got just a couple more. Can we use this code shown for demo to a customer? No, but we could certainly set up a demo for you to use. And then last one, if an operator forgets to initiate the incident code and closes the event, can the incident code be created after the fact? Yes and no. They can certainly go back in, let's say do a manual patrol and create an incident. The only problem is the alarm footage and the previous audit footage would not be able to be included. Again, I think to Jason's point, if there's playback capabilities as part of that integration, you could go back and collect some of the clips that would be relevant to send. You can also send some of the details, have them type those in plain text to indicate what they saw, but they wouldn't necessarily be able to go back and get alarm footage from a previous event to include.
One more, and maybe we answered this, but somebody's saying to remind them exactly how law enforcement receives the active reports during a dispatch.
Verbally. Yeah, so it's still a call to the local 911, and you would just the operator would verbally pass along incident code alarm, incident code number 721033.
Yeah, they need the 6-digit incident code number.
All right. Well, if anybody did not get their question answered or thinks of something after the fact, don't hesitate to reach out, follow up. Again, feel free to download the handout. You always can contact your MX sales director, our support as well, should you have any questions that you didn't think of during this webinar. The recording as well as the handout, we'll send those to you after we wrap up. But I do just want to say thank you to everybody. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Rick, for taking the time out of your day today to join us and kind of share what it is Incident Code is and does.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful day.